probably should go to bed. Behind the scenes this week has been a bit of a mess, right? Because I've had a lot of problems to deal with outside of this show. How dare I call my own video a show? It's a video. This episode has sort of been last minute, and as I'm rather busy on Sunday when these videos normally come out, I have to do this thing slightly earlier, and it was all planned out to go well. So throughout the week it's kind of developed less and less into about the filming, about doing this, into turning it into actually having to deal with the real world and doing a few things outside of that. But now that is over and I can speak today, which is Friday, I can actually continue filming properly for behind the scenes because I can actually speak, because I don't have anaesthetic jammed up my gum. So scene 5 is still not finished. After 5 days of filming this, I still haven't finished scene 5 because it is the biggest scene. And it's kind of unlucky that this happened on this week, which meant that I had to go away from it slightly. I've been trying to film as much as I can each night or whenever I could to try and continue the timetable of how these things are going to be made. I've been writing a lot of episode 4 though, so it's okay. It's not too bad, but scene 5 needs to get finished tonight. In order for Saturday morning to be scene 6, which is only a short scene, and then job done. So let's talk about episode 4 before we look at episode 3. So episode 4 is a Cyberman story. It's a monster story as well, and it rolls around a company in the not too distant future creating body parts upgrades for people, so getting new hands, new arms, to full scale bodies made out of metal, and it's about where this goes, and I don't want to say any more, but it's probably the darkest story I think I've written so far. I think it has some really quite terrifying ideas that are what the essence of a Cyberman is. And you don't really need to even have a full-blown Cyberman for that to be there. That all starts next week, so let's go and take a look at episode 3. So I was about to show you the set, and then I dropped it. Well, it crumbled in my hands. It's not the most sturdiest set I've ever worked on, and it's been rather annoying. Some of the shots that I've tried to get have been rather difficult as well. The wheelchair doesn't really move nor fit in proportionately with the other characters, therefore it's a bit difficult to manoeuvre in a scene. It becomes a bit of a pain. In fact, I had to change the script slightly for it to account for that. There's a bit in which we see Aaron take his father out of the room, but in the version that will be the animation, he doesn't leave the room. Well, he's never seen to leave the room, but I like to imagine that he left with him. So because you cannot animate somebody grabbing this thing, because if you do, then they're about 3 times taller than they're supposed to be, so they're in this position and they're just unbalanced and they just don't animate very well. So I tried it didn't work, so I decided just to remove that bit from the script, and just to have the moment done but not show the wheelchair. Okay, so that's scene 5. We need to get onto scene 6 super quickly. Luckily, it's only a short scene, so it won't be that difficult. I also have a few other tasks to do, so thank God my desk is now clear. That's the end of scene 6. Obviously, I didn't show you it because there's a lot of stuff, because it is the conclusion of the episode, so therefore I don't really show much of it. This is the only shot you're getting. So, this really isn't the end of the episode, because episode 4 has kind of like a tie-in between the two. So the first scene of episode 4 is also the last scene of episode 3. It's it's been done like that because they're linked, these ones. Up to the last one, episode 10, they're basically all linked. A lot more in terms of like they don't end. I know that 4 kind of does, but 5 won't. 6 will. You know that it will be a bit on and off, so you don't really know if your episode's going to end or not as they come out. But overall, you know, I'm rather happy with episode 3. I've done a lot of very interesting, very weird things with this episode. Used a lot more techniques than I normally would. You know, some practical, some CGI, fake ones. But it looks like it could be a very interesting episode. It's got a pretty interesting premise, and it's written, dare I say, quite well. So, you know, this one is something I'm looking forward to, but we don't have any time to look at episode 3 because we're going straight into episode 4 next week when we start looking at its first and second scenes. And then once the first and second scenes are done, we'll do the third and the fourth, the fifth and the sixth, and then we end behind the scenes throughout the summer by just wrapping up a couple of loose bits, and I might put a bit of a break on this series for a few weeks in early September, so I can begin episode 5, and then I'll have plenty of stuff to talk about. But that's how I'm going to do it, so thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like. Next week we probably need to look at the posters, in fact, in the trailer, because I haven't done that yet. That might be one of the loose ends that needs to be tied up over the next few weeks. But, you know, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.